One day in Brazil, I looked in a forest, but I couldn't find this bug that was called a cicada. Then, when we came back, I prayed for a cicada. Then one night, one just flew right in while we were eating. And we caught it, and I was happy.
As they walked down the street, 3 Bible scholars discussed theology. The issue in question was prayer. To be more specific, they discussed the most effective prayer position. The conversation was so engaging that they stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. They did not realize it, but they were under a pole where a person was working on the telephone wires. That worker could not avoid listening to the discussion. This was what he witnessed. One of the theologians said that the most powerful prayer was when the hands were put together. He hadn't finished his argument when another theologian disagreed and said that the most powerful prayer was done on your knees. The third student said, "I do not agree with any of you. The most powerful prayer position is when I lay prostrate on the floor." The man on the pole couldn't keep quiet and said, "Friends, the most fervent prayer I had ever prayed was not with my hands together or on my knees, much less with my face to the ground. It was when I was 12 meters above the ground hanging from these telephone wires." What determines the power and effectiveness of prayer is not the position or shape, or much less the eloquent words, but rather the sincerity of the heart. Being perfectly honest, one of the most sincere prayers I have ever read is in the book of Ezra, chapter 9, from verses 6 to 15. The portion of this prayer that touches me is in verse 9. "For we are slaves, but in his unfailing love, our God did not abandon us in our slavery. Instead, he caused the kings of Persia to treat us favorably. He revived us so that we are able to rebuild the temple of our God and repair its ruins. He has given us a protective wall in Judah and Jerusalem." I love the singular way Ezra talks about God's mercy and what it was able to do for his people. According to Ezra, the mercy of God was manifested so that they could 1. Revive, 2. Rebuild the house of the Lord, 3. Restore the ruins, and 4. Erect a protective wall. This is just a hint of what the grace of God is capable of doing. I have no doubt that we must beg for the mercy of God to be manifested in us every day so that we can also receive these 4 blessings: to revive and bring life to what is dead. Don't you need this miracle of restoration of life? How are your relationships, your job, your family, your dreams, your plans, your spiritual life? Well, God can bring life to that which is dead or about to die. To rebuild the house of God is to fix what was broken. God's mercy allowed the restoration of the destroyed. He can fix what is broken in your life. What needs to be restored in your life? Your faith, hope, love, forgiveness? It doesn't matter. God can restore it. To restore the ruins means the undoing of the work of the enemy. God can destroy the works of the enemy in your life, in your home, in your community, if you simply allow the grace of God to be made manifest. The same way that God's mercy allowed the protective wall to be erected around Jerusalem is the same way that God can also erect a wall of security around your life, your health, your faith, your family. If you ask and allow for the work of God's grace to be manifested in your life, the angels of the Lord will create a protective wall around you. Don't you wish to pray the prayer of Ezra? Do you long for revival? Pray about it. Do you want the broken pieces to be restored? Pray about it. Do you yearn for the works of the enemy to be undone? Pray about it. Do you lack a wall of protection? Pray about it. And as you pray, remember, prayer is the key in the hand of faith to unlock heaven's storehouse, where are treasured the boundless resources of omnipotence.